Hey, Mama. If you have ever made a beautiful homeschool plan and then wanted to throw it out the window by week two, you are not alone. I too have been there, feeling like the plan was perfect on paper, but then it just unraveled in real life. And the worst part was that I thought that meant I was the problem. And maybe that I wasn't disciplined enough or organized enough or patient enough to do all this homeschool thing well. But what I've learned is that it wasn't my lack of follow through, it was my planning approach that was setting me up to fail. It was these unrealistic expectations that kept me in the cycle of throwing in the towel every other week. And that's why I created this workshop. I want to give you 3 fast planning fixes that will help you breathe again. These are real tools and real mindset shifts that I pulled straight from my book. It's called Overwhelmed, a homeschool mom's rescue plan for peaceful routine. And if we haven't met before, my name is Amanda Schenkenberger. I am a second generation homeschooler with 4 boys, and I absolutely love to help moms calm the chaos and confidently homeschool so we can blend rigorous academics with joyful, connected learning. So let's jump into the first planning fix. And this is plan less, but do it better. Want to plan less, but do what we plan better. So, a surprising truth to you might be that most homeschool moms find themselves over planning. We do this thing where we pile on the subjects, we pack the schedule and the expectations, and it's certainly not because we want to overwhelm ourselves, but we do this because we're so afraid of failing our kids. But here's what I need you to hear. You don't have to plan for 8 subjects. You need 4 solid subjects done with intention. And that's why I created my core 4 system in my planning framework. And you might have heard of these core 4 before. They're very common. This is language arts, math, science, and social studies. And that's what we focus on. That's it. We do less better. Now, I want to share some caveat that comes with this and break it down by age. If you have a kindergarten to second grader, your real focus is just on language arts and math. That's it. We want our kiddos to love learning, learn how to read, and begin some counting. And science at this age, it is wonder filled. It's that playing in the mud, planting seeds, poking bugs around, releasing butterflies. I mean, those are some of the things we still do, and my kids are in like middle school and high school. So it gets to be very hands on and full of wonder and just witnessing nature around you. And if you're thinking about social studies, think about health. Think about things like brushing teeth, creating good habits, making good food choices, practicing kindness. And if it fits your family, talking about God and what it means to serve Him. And, maybe some character pieces and Bible verses too. But nothing where we sit down and have a curriculum. And it's very organic at this age. Now, as your kiddo transitions into 3rd grade, I actually recommend gently bringing in a more formal science curriculum. I recommend doing biology because most kids love animals. And we've personally used Journey Homeschool Academy for years. It's very good. It's video based. They love the Lord, and it's top notch. We absolutely have loved it. So we use them. And then social studies, we've always started with stories. And a company that does that really well is Tuttle Twins. And they do this for economics and history and character and entrepreneurship. I got to help them build their Tuttle Twin Academy. But for the younger ages, they have great books where if your kid's not reading well yet, you can read to them. There's beautiful pictures. I mean, I sat with my 5-year-old for about 20 minutes yesterday reading The Leviathan Crisis. And I mean, it's talking about concepts I'm like learning, and he's like trying to figure it out in his sweet 5-year-old brain. It was the book he chose. I didn't choose it. It's got some pretty cool graphics. But we can introduce social studies through stories. Nobody has to open a dry textbook curriculum. Introduce social studies through stories, and Tuttle Twins is one of my favorites for that. So as your kids move into middle school, we want to get them a little bit more involved in their learning. So we also want to begin to introduce more formal subjects. If you're going a more academically rigorous route, not an unschooling route, so you can think about asking them, what kind of science do you want to learn about? Is there a period of history you're curious about? Or is there a language or an instrument you want to learn this year? So my boys have never been super big on social studies. Like, they love music. We talk about the Bible a lot, but like history, they weren't really into it until I introduced them to Nathan Hale's Hazardous Tales graphic novels about American history, and they just devoured them up. Now, they are about war. So like, there's one of them that talks about like amputating somebody, and it's all like cartoons, but even like I felt queasy. So just a heads up, they're a little graphic on the war side. You might want to preface them, you like, by looking through them, but my boys are hooked. And they've not, I've been learning so much about American history that I didn't know. So stories are the way to go to introduce social studies. But my point is this: planning doesn't have to be packed to be powerful. It does not have to be packed to be powerful. If your plan gives you margin, connection, and progress in the core 4, you're doing it right. Once those 4 core subjects start to feel natural and consistent, you can absolutely do more, but there is no rush. If your confidence is shaky or your days feel heavy, I want to encourage you just to start with the core 4 and make life a little easier by choosing a language arts and math curriculum. Don't try hodgepodging different materials together, because you may miss some important information simply because you didn't know. And this will add to more lack of confidence and feel like you're failing. So just do yourself a favor and get a curriculum for these 2 subjects. We personally have loved the good and the beautiful for this in all elementary grades. And as we have gotten into middle school and high school, we've made some shifts, but good and beautiful is a really good standard. It takes a lot off your plate while still focusing on what matters most. So if you want help mapping out your first 30 days of school, you'll find my simple quick start guide for planning your first homeschool month right below this video. It walks you through what actually matters and what you can let go of. So I also go deeper into this 4 core rhythm inside my training that comes with the routine builder, which you'll find inside your Summit swag bag. And I want to use both of these together. You're not just planning, you're creating a framework that works with your brain, not against it. And if you're thinking, man, this is the kind of information I've been needing, that's exactly why I wrote my book, Overwhelmed: A Homeschool Mom's Rescue Plan for Peaceful Routines. It's not a checklist, certainly not a planner. It's a permission slip that I wish that I had. One that gently rewires how you think about time, pressure, and motherhood. And inside, I walk you through the same mindset shifts, routines, and gentle strategies that I've used with hundreds of homeschool moms to create more peace, more progress, and more connection. You can grab your copy today. You'll see the ad banner below where it says pre-order, and you just click that and it'll take you right to the page. Now, whether you're starting with the guide, the book, or the routine training, I want you to know this: you're not failing. You're still showing up. You're still here. You're just overwhelmed. And the way forward doesn't start with a better planner. It starts with more grace and one simple step in the right direction. Now let's go ahead and move on to planning fix number 2. Anchor your day with routines. not schedules. Now that we've kind of simplified your homeschool with the core four, let's talk about, your days. Because this is where most homeschool moms get stuck, is they create this beautiful hour by hour schedule. And then real life hits, someone's melting down, the dog's puking, a math lesson takes twice as long, and suddenly the whole plan unravels. So instead of clinging to a rigid schedule, which does not work with small people, it just doesn't. Tiny humans don't do rigid schedules. What I teach instead is to help moms build routine anchors. These are gentle rhythms that hold the flow of your day together without crushing the soul. I want you to think of it like this. It can be a morning anchor, a midday anchor, and an evening anchor. And these all help you stay calm, keep the kiddos on track, and give your nervous system a break. So if you've never used an anchor before, here's a simple one that works for most homeschool moms. And it is breakfast homeschool. Breakfast homeschool. As soon as breakfast's over, you collectively move into learning time. And that may mean you let the dishes soak before you get started. You let the dishes soak while you get started. If the kiddos are older, maybe they can begin their work independently and you can finish up the dishes. But what this time does not include is screens, playtime, or wandering around, or finish getting ready. It's a smooth, immediate transition. Oh, we're finished with breakfast. Here we go. And now we're moving into homeschool. Like if it's all at the dinner table, then you don't even have to move. You just need to get out the books. Now, when you have a few of these anchors in place throughout your day, your kids stop wondering what's coming next. We go to jujitsu most days, and my 5-year-old loves to trade Pokemon. It's not my favorite, but I keep telling myself, I'm like, he's going to be a great businessman. Yep, he's going to know the value of things. He's going to know how to barter. There's value in Pokemon. I can't believe I just said that. Get back on track. So an afternoon anchor for us is going to jujitsu. So often you'll hear my 5-year-old say, hey, mommy, when are we going to jujitsu? Because he knows in his head it's coming. And so, I'll answer him, but there's no pushback. When it's time to get in the car, he's like getting on his shoes and heading out the door, making sure he's got his Pokemon binder. There's no resistance to this transition. It's seamless and smooth because he knows what's coming and he's actually looking forward to it. So that is what an anchor does. It helps our kids know what is coming next to reduce that pushback, and they feel more secure and settled. That's what predictability does for our kids. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be predictable. All right, let's talk about our final planning fix number 3, which is stop overhauling and start tweaking. And here's one thing that saved my homeschool and continues to save it week after week. And it's that you don't need a brand new homeschool plan. You need one small shift. And I see it again and again with homeschool moms. They'll start off, or August, early September, full of excitement and energy. And then October, deep down, they want to burn it all down, right? Nope, let's put these kids back on that yellow bus. That sounds good, right? We just have this burn it down cycle go on. And if you have seen that pattern in yourself, please, pretty please, stop burning your wonderful plans to the ground. You don't need to reset everything to move forward. We just need one simple tweak, very intentional tweak. And that's why in my book, Overwhelmed, I share something called the weekly tweak. And that's a simple tool that helps you make one small change per week and track your progress as you go. Because here's what I've learned. When you change too many things at once and it works or it fails, you don't know what made the difference. And you end up spinning your wheels, guessing, and wasting time you don't have. Another thing that it does is that when you overhaul everything, it's rarely sustainable. And when it all falls apart, it leaves you with more self-doubt, more frustration, and eventually burnout. The last thing is that I know that small changes compound. One intentional tweak each week adds up to a completely different homeschool by the end of the year. And because small wins build consistency, and consistency builds confidence. This is the exact approach I use with my coaching clients. And it's one of the reasons they keep coming back to me, because this works. And having accountability makes all the difference. So please don't underestimate these small weekly changes. They're not just practical, they are life-changing. All right, those are the 3 quick planning fixes that I have for you. And if you feel like this workshop helped you like exhale a little bit, or your brain or your body feels a little bit more at ease, that's why I wrote my book, Overwhelmed. And it's for moms just like you, the ones who are trying their best, but quietly wondering if they're doing it all wrong. It's not a how-to manual. It's a gentle mindset shift, a permission slip, and a plan that fits your real life. It was born out of my rock bottom moments when I was failing my kids, burning out and ready to quit. And it's filled with the very mindset shifts, gentle planning tools, and real life rhythms I use in with my coaching clients today. You can grab your copy. The link is right below. You'll see the banner. And if you're not quite ready, no pressure. You can just start with a simple quick start guide below this video, or the routine builder in your swag bag. But start small. Start with just one tweak, because that's all it takes to begin rebuilding your homeschool with peace. You are not behind. You are building something beautiful. And I would be honored to walk that road with you.